Hi, Suzanne. I'm so excited that you're coming to Dawn Marie's event this afternoon. I love newbies. I've got to tell you, these books have changed my life in so many ways. When I was teaching, I used to find these in consignment stores, and I used to go to homeschool stores all the time to find books. And I would find these, and I never really understood who they were. They were Usborne. I never knew what that meant. They were published. I never looked at a publisher before. And I saw these books, and I was like, oh my gosh, the material in these books is fantastic. And so I would always pull them into my classrooms. I taught a lot of AP classes all the way down to like early middle school. And I absolutely enjoy kids of all ages really learning about science and math. So these books were perfect. When I tutored, I would use a lot of our math books, especially our Lift the Flat math books, which I'm not sure actually. I do have ABC, or I do have adding and subtracting over here, especially the fractions and decimals book, because of the way that they're laid out. This is obviously for a little bit younger kid, but the way they're laid out in such a way that really engages with the child. The flat books that we have, See Insides, Look Insides, and Lift the Flaps, those series are designed to get kids to think and move, kinesthetic learning at the same time. That helps them retain that information a little bit better. It's in bite-sized chunks, so it really helps them to formulate their own opinions as well as not have to read a wall of text. Well, when it comes to the math books, one of the great things about it, and yours are probably going to be a little too old for this, but one of the great things about it is I would use the fractions and decimals to remediate, because the kids would come in and they wouldn't have the understanding and the concept of those fractions or using decimals when they would multiply and divide and all of that. They didn't have that concept. And so when they were getting in upper level maths, they were struggling. And I would pull these out, and inevitably the kid would catch on really fast. And the reason is it's presented in a clear, straightforward manner that they're going to pick up on. So these books were fantastic for me. And so I was like, I love these books. These are great. I stopped teaching when I got married because I moved, and then I didn't look for a job because I got pregnant, and then I had my kiddos, and my first son was actually not developmental late. He's not actually. He's above, but he was he's special needs. He has a lot of issues that kept us at home all the time. We weren't able to get out for fear of him getting sick. And so one of the things that happened was I realized I needed an outlet. I wasn't just me anymore. I loved teaching. So I tried tutoring some from home, but even that gave me a little bit of pause with my son. So I was like, I need to do something. Well, a friend of mine invited me to a book party. And I don't normally do direct sales parties. So I was like, books, I can do books. And what did I find out? But these books were the ones that I already used. And I loved that. And then, of course, my son really hated reading. He hated storybooks like crazy. And by this time, he was 3.5, almost 4, and he hated reading. And I couldn't figure it out because it's like, why do you hate this? And so I got a couple of nonfiction books for his age range. And oh my gosh, the material is up here, but it's presented down here where younger kids can understand, and it's phenomenal. My son just latched onto it. He's like me. He's a nonfiction kid. He's not a fiction kid. And so they worked so well for him. So what did I do? I started buying all the books. And she was like, you might want to consider becoming a consultant. Not only are you going to get 25% in commission for everything that you sell, but you're going to get a lot of free books too. So I was like, free books? I can do that. I'm going to homeschool. Yeah, I'll do that. So I've been a consultant for almost 4 years now and a team leader as well. And I absolutely adore everything that we stand for. Peter Usborne has often said that he couldn't figure out why his kids hated to read. And then he picked up their books and he was like, oh, it's because they dumb down the material. They talk down to the kids. Why would I want to read this? It's a wall of text. I don't want to read this. And so he was already in the publishing industry, and he decided to create children's books that were high-level material, accessible at the younger ages. So the material that you have, no matter if they're elementary school books or all the way up through the high school books, they're always going to present information that's at a higher level. And it's going to be something that the kids can still understand and grasp. So I always use our periodic table book as an example. I'd have used this in my high school chemistry classes. It's presented in a way that looks fun and engaging and might look a little bit babyish, but the material in here, oh my gosh, it talks about atomic structure. if you want to get really into atomic structure, the new See Inside Atoms and Molecules hits that spot really well. Electron diagrams, everything that you can get in there. And then, of course, it has the periodic table separated by colors by their groups. And one of the cool things that it does is it separates each page group by colors. And so it's going to helpfully understand all of the material. And then the other thing that I really love is all of the liquids look like little blobs. All of the solids are blocks, and then all of the gases are little ghosts. So it really helps them understand in a way that works for a fourth grader and works for a high schooler. I'm done. They're perfect. So that was really cool. And then the other thing that I found out when I became a consultant was, in fact, we offer a 50% replacement guarantee. Not only are our books really high quality and that they're very sturdy and they're really, really hard to mess up a lot, if by any reason they do get messed up, your dog chews it, you throw it down the banister, that's happened here, broke a really, really nice thick book that I absolutely adored. Actually, it's right here. This is Farmyard Tales, and I love this book. It comes with the CD, but they killed my binding. I could easily get this replaced for 50% of cost, which to me, it's not worth it. But for this book, because it's my book and I get to share it with people and show them that, but you could easily get that replaced. I've had kids who leave their books on the floor and the dog has chewed them up, and we get those books replaced for them. So it's always a great opportunity to be able to say, oh yeah, I'll get those books and I'll see what all happens. The other thing is that you can get these books for free through hosting parties. We have an amazing host rewards program, which you'll see today and you'll see this afternoon in the party. So that's just a little bit about Usborne Books and More. The company's been around for in the U.S. for 30 years, and it's such a phenomenal company that to work for. I just absolutely enjoy everything about this business. I also like the fact that right now, during all of this quarantine, all the books that I've amassed on my shelves have kept my kids engaged and happy. Not only are they still learning because we homeschool, so they still have those books, they're also able to just go pull the books off. I found something out that I didn't know about my kids is that my daughter absolutely loves boy books. And in fact, we have a book called Billy and the Mini Monsters. And it's a chapter book, but it's almost like graphic novel setting. And we literally pour through those books. I can read them in 30 minutes, and it's a chapter book, and I read in about 30 minutes for my daughter, and she's constantly bringing me new ones. She's like, read this. She's 4.5. So something that's going to engage. We have books that are nonfiction. We have books that are fiction. We have books for babies. We have books for adults. We have them throughout the spread of the course of your life. So that's kind of cool. Now for the recommendations. Sorry that took a long time. I hope you fast forward through some of it. I'll let you know that you can if you want. Now for older kids, I wanted to pull some things for older kids that I thought, being a newbie, you might really respect. One of them is that we have 3 major encyclopedias that we adore in our house. I normally show the science encyclopedia. It's currently upstairs with my son. He's doing a unit on astronomy right now, and he wanted to use some of the quick links in it. But I want to share with you a little bit about them. They're the Usborne so this is the Usborne Geography Encyclopedia and Complete World Atlas. One of the things with this is it's not just geography. There's also ecology in here. My master's is in plant pathology. My undergraduate degrees are in botany and environmental science. So anything ecology based is really my forte. And so this book actually has biomes and all of that, as well as the kind of the cultural history of the geographic areas. So it's a really neat book. What I like about it is it's each of the double spread pages is a topic. And you'll have information on it. You also have quick links. You'll see here it says internet links. You'll have quick links that you use that to put them in. They've been vetted by Usborne. Put them into the computer, and you'll pull up more information on that topic. You'll pull up videos, graphics, websites that have just an enormous amount of information. So these are great primary sources, and then of course you have your secondary sources. I love that about these. And then of course in this particular one you have the world maps, and then you have, it always has a glossary and an index, but you have the gorgeous flags, And then the night sky. So this is a phenomenal book. The Science Encyclopedia, Osborne Encyclopedia of Science, that one actually has QR codes, and they will all eventually have QR codes, but that one actually has QR codes instead of the internet links. So all you do is you use your phone and you click on that QR code, and it's going to pull up all of those internet links. It just makes it a little easier, less of a step. And then the last one is the Osborne Encyclopedia of History. That one, or of world history, that one is phenomenal. If you love history, that is a go-to for me. You can get all three of them in hardback form, or you can, as a collection, or you can get the cheaper version. It's called Reduced. It's just slightly smaller, and it's in paperback, and they hold up really, really well. I've had this one now for 4 years, and it's held up really well through all of my kids' abuse, and we do use them often. But we have so many more things that we have, titles that we have available, and you'll see a lot of them this afternoon. I wanted to touch base with the ones that you specifically have. Your 13-year-old loves chapter books. So I wanted to mention some of those now. This is one of our newest ones. This is the 48 Hours series. There's 2 currently in the series. The thing I love about it is it's an investigation, and they have 48 hours to solve it. And so it's all about solving this investigation, whether it's murder or theft or something like that. This one happens to be Jazz's best friend, Anika, has been kidnapped. She can't call the cops, so Jazz forges a shaky truce with her brilliant nemesis, Phoenix, to help her investigate. And so it's going to take them through the kidnapping investigation. There's another one that is in the series, so check those out. The A.L. Tate books are some of my absolute favorites. This is the Ataban Cipher Duology. This is the Book of Secrets and the Book of Answers. If he's into mystery and cipher, these are phenomenal books to really get them thinking. It is a great chapter book. The other A.L. Tate series is the Mapmaker's Chronicles. That's more of an adventure series. This is more mystery. That's more adventure. So definitely check those out as well. Another series that we absolutely love here in our house is the Graphic Classics and Graphic Legends. These books, this happens to be Greek myths. This is Jason and the Argonauts. These are really well done graphic novels. They're not going to be cheesy. They're going to be actually the story. This happens to be the myth. There's one on Thor, which is Norse mythology. There's also The Hound of the Baskervilles, Sherlock Holmes, or there's Dracula. There's Robin Hood. So many great classics that are really well done. They don't really take away very much from the actual text. So if they like graphic novels, these are a great option. Another option that we have, that if you want classics, is something like this. This is Around the World in 80 Days. These are our illustrated originals. They are unabridged versions of the books. So we have things like Little Women, Jungle Book, Around the World in 80 Days, Wizard of Oz, lots and lots of titles in here. White Fang is also in here. They are illustrated, but they are gorgeous. The pages are glossy. They are super nice gift style books. So check those out too. Now, for your other son who's into animatronics, I have to say we don't have anything directly related to animatronics, but I took that as technology and almost robots. And so one of the things that I wanted to pull was our Discovery series. This is artificial intelligence. We have lots in this kind of topic. We have drones, spies, things like that. But this book is brilliantly illustrated with real world application as well as real world images. So it is phenomenal to teach concepts in that regard. And then of course there is going to be an index and a glossary in the back. This is what we call a flex binding. You'll see it's not paper, it's a thicker binding. I never suggest using library binding for any of my homes. If you're a teacher and you're going to be in a classroom with lots and lots of kids, maybe. I never did. Or if you are a librarian, that's really what the library binding is for, is to be in schools and libraries. I do schools and libraries as well. So I have some of them, but I don't have many. Okay, last but not least, I wanted to mention our STEM scribble books. Now we have a lot of STEM books going on right now. And of course, I don't have any that are extremely handy, which is really interesting because I usually have them at my fingertips, but they might be upstairs right now. But we have some that are engineering based that are great books for kids anywhere between 8 and 12. Your kids may still enjoy them, but these are definitely for your age range. This is the STEM technology book. What I love about it is it's going to introduce technology-based jobs, what sectors you can really work in technology. And then of course, it's going to take you through what somebody who works in those fields actually does. And it's going to help you to develop a plan for an idea. Then it's going to take you on an adventure all through different problems that you can solve in the realm of technology. And so it really gets you thinking like someone who works in that field. This one is probably my favorite of all the STEM scribble books. We also have math, science, and engineering, math, science, technology, inventions is our most is our newest one. This is going to tell you all about the different fields within engineering. My husband's a mechanical engineer. He really likes this book. And then it's going to teach you how to think like an engineer, from conceptualization all the way to producing your particular masterpiece, whatever that happens to be. Then it's going to give you the same idea. It's going to give you problems and topics within the field of engineering, within the different fields of engineering, and have you solve them and think like an actual engineer. I love that. It's one of my favorite idea books, and it's something that I think a lot of kids really love. I do want to mention one more thing. You'll see it again in this next part, but I have a VIP group that I love. If you're on Facebook, my VIP group is actually geared for kids of all ages. So we do a lot of younger stuff, but we also do some of the older stuff. These books are for 12 and up. This is the chemistry of cola. We also have the biology of bananas. No, it is not just about cola, but it does rely heavily on this towards the end. It is kitchen experiments or kitchen science. And inside it, it talks about so many different concepts of the particular branch of science that you're looking at. This happens to be chemistry. So there's going to be entire chapters on states of matter, solutions, chemical makeup, food chemistry, looking closely at cola and how it's packaged. So one of the things that I really enjoyed about this is that it has experiments in it. And so you have an experiment on edible iron. It's talking about the periodic table. And so then it's talking about iron. You also have an experiment in here. Where was it? The suspect surfaces. So you're going to learn about different states of matter. So wonderful, wonderful books. And I actually, in my VIP group right now, we're performing an experiment. And we started the experiment. It's more of a demo. It's not truly an experiment, but you can make it an experiment based on the book, but I figured it'd work better as a demo. The demo is actually ongoing in my VIP group. So if you're interested in that, join Reading Pit Stop on Facebook. So 3 words, Reading Pit Stop. Okay, I hope that wasn't too much information. It's about 20 minutes long, and I don't normally do that. They're normally between 5 and 10, depending on how many kids I'm working with. So I hope that helps. I cannot wait to see you this afternoon. Have a great day.